I'm a 20-year-old female who lives in a suburban neighborhood with my family. A few years ago, we had new neighbors move in next door. At first they seemed okay, but then they turned out to be complete party animals. I'm talking partying 3 times a week, blasting loud music till 2 a.m. Over the past year and a half, we've had multiple confrontations with our neighbors over petty stuff. In fact, I made a post about one of these petty confrontations with our neighbor on r/malicious compliance. Here is the link if y'all want some backstory, but it's not necessary. I'm shocked it blew up as much as it did. And honestly, I almost forgot about the post entirely, until a few weeks ago. Here's the story. Our neighbors were having another one of their super crazy pool parties and it was driving everyone in the neighborhood crazy. The police couldn't do much, because we would make a noise complaint and the police would show up to give them a warning. Things would get quiet for maybe 30 minutes, but then the partying would start again. Over time, some neighbors began to give up and eventually some even moved away. This was especially upsetting for my mom when one of her friends, who lived on the other side of our neighbor, moved away due to our horrible neighbor. My mom had finally had enough. Once the party finally seemed to wind down at around midnight and guests started leaving, my mom marched straight up to the female owner of the house, we all call her Lying Sally, because she's a pathological liar, and warned her that we will start calling the cops on them more often if they don't stop. Of course, Lying Sally and her party guests laugh and start taunting my mom, which led to an ugly screaming match. Luckily, I had the common sense to record all of this. Just in case. And thank God I did. At some point during the fight, Lying Sally screams at my mom, I'm going to beat the so/t out of you. One of our neighbors called the cops, which I don't blame him for doing so. I was getting worried for my mom, since Lying Sally kept threatening to OK her up. The cops came and everything got peacefully resolved. It wasn't until the next morning I reviewed the video and remembered that you can file a restraining order against somebody for threat of assault. Now here's the thing. I knew that filing a restraining order against someone can cause that person to maybe lose their job or make it very difficult for that person to find a future job. I knew from the sticker on the back of her car that she works in a daycare. If I were a nicer person, I could have let it go. Too bad I'm petty. So we filed the restraining order, took my neighbor to court, and after showing the judge the video he was immediately on our side. Especially after she had initially tried to lie and claim that she never once threatened my mom. She didn't know I had video proof. The judge granted us the restraining order and we were jumping for joy. Meanwhile, Lying Sally wouldn't stop crying and pleading with the judge to rethink his verdict. The real kicker? I made an anonymous call, with a friend's phone, to the daycare center where she worked and let her boss know everything. A few days later I noticed that she had removed the sticker on the back of her car. I'm pretty sure she was fired, because she started staying at home almost 24/7. Her car almost never left the driveway. Also, the best part? The crazy loud parties finally stopped. It's been radio silent for a whole month. You can bet that during Christmas our closest neighbors dropped off a lot of cookie tins and chocolates as thanks. End number X200B, edit, thank you for the awards and kudos. Somebody asked how the judge was able to see the video when phones aren't allowed on in the courtroom. This is true and I'll explain. So we were told to have our phones turned completely off, but once the hearing started and Lying Sally straight up lied to the judge saying I never threatened her /my mom / I told the judge I have video proof. The judge allowed me to show the video on this Elmo projector thing and the whole courtroom got to watch the video. That was the nail in the coffin for Lying Sally. Also, in the comments I mention I have video proof of her kissing someone who's not her husband. There are several reasons why I haven't exposed her to her husband as a cheater yet. 1. I'm not sure if she and her husband are in an open relationship. They are both crazy enough to where it would be a possibility. 2. They have kids. I'm a child whose parents almost went through a divorce. I know how horrible that can be. I'm hoping Lying Sally takes this as a sign to turn a new leaf, because she also saw that video during the court proceedings. So she knows I have proof of her infidelity, which is probably another reason why their house has stopped the excessive partying. 3. I also kinda hate the husband, he's always been extremely rude, which is explained in the backstory I left a link for near the top of this post. So this is my petty revenge against him. 4. I'm holding onto the video as blackmail just in case the partying does start up again.